Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, episode 16.
It's time to reverse the imbalances in your life as you take the first step on your own journey towards personal change. Welcome to Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, educating, empowering, and inspiring individuals to live healthier. Now here are your hosts and your guides to natural living, Jamal and Kim.
Hi, Kim and Jamal here, and welcome to another episode of Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe podcast, where each and every week we try to inspire, educate, and empower you to live healthier. And I'm Kim, and I'm joined with Jamal.
Greetings, everyone.
And in these episodes, in these episodes, Jamal and I like to get on by ourselves and discuss takeaways from this week's previous episodes and any other things that come to mind. And this week we had another great interview. Maha Al-Musa joined us, and it was a very powerful interview. Maha, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this week.
Yeah.
And the title of this week's podcast was Healing Through Birth with Maha Al-Musa. And it was a great interview. I enjoyed talking with Maha. She shared some powerful information, powerful insight and wisdom in the area of birth. Mm-hmm. And I hope it helped a lot of women, especially, but men and families to understand the powerful experience that is called birth. And during that interview certainly brought back memories to our birthing experience with Saora. We did share within the episode that Jamal and I, we did have a home birth of our 5-year-old daughter, who will soon be 6 next month, Saora, and just that experience and my personal experience of going through birth. And, it was great talking with Maha because she shed some light on such a powerful experience. And I hope it helped women to, view birth in a different light. And it was about shifting the mindset of moving away from fear and stepping into it and understanding the powerful experience that it is. And, we just want to dive into some of the key takeaways that we had during the interview. So, Jamal, what was one of your takeaways?
Well, first of all, I thought that it was an incredible show. I really enjoyed it. And, even though I am a man, I really have a passion for just the sacredness of, birth mm-hmm. and everything that surrounds it. It fascinates me. And the experience that we had, with our birth was amazing. Yeah. And the thing is, it made me really just reflect on how bad the health education in our country really is, mm-hmm. because, we'll go through an entire education process and not know anything that truly matters in our lives. I mean, we learn about aspects of, science, and we learn history, and we learn all of these complex mathematical equations. We learn how to take standardized tests, and we learn how to prepare for college, and go through college and write dissertations and do all of these different things. But when it comes to the wisdom of the body, when it comes to the things that matter the most in your life, like you only have one body, you only have this, you're giving this one body in this lifetime. Mm-hmm. And you're not taught how to understand your body. You're not taught how to upkeep your body. You're not taught the process of your body. I mean, it's kind of grazed over. The average person has minimum education when it comes to understanding their body. So when their body goes through different shifts and changes, when your body speaks to you, you can't even listen. You can't even listen to the wisdom of your body because you don't even understand the language. Mm-hmm. How could we go through an education process and you not know what the language of your body is when your body is speaking to you? How can you not understand the birthing process? We sit in front of so many men and women that don't even understand the birthing process. Mm-hmm. A lot of women don't understand the birthing process and what shifts happen in their body. And, you know, I just think that it is sad. It's sad overall, just the perception that's put out there and the miseducation that's put out there when it comes to birth. To me, you know, birth is one of the most spiritual acts, you know, and the conception of a child is one of the most spiritual acts that you could ever do. I mean, you're creating a life form. And, you know, when it comes to that process, spirit has been separated, you know, energy, emotion, you know, and just that process of what's actually happening. It's all been separated. And I think that it's important for you to pull those pieces back together for us, the conception and the journey, as well as the actual birth was a spiritual experience for us. That's what it was, and that's what it is. And, you know, for it to be just crunched down into this kind of quick process and a lack of understanding, to me, it's a disservice. So I hope, if anything, that this show begin to open you up. I know for a lot of people, it pushed your mind a bit. And I'm sure during the show, a lot of people looked, you know, or listened in kind of like as a skeptic in a sense.
Right.
But it's good to be pushed. And I challenge you to relax into the resistance that your mind is you know, giving you. I was looking at I was on Facebook the other day, and I was looking at an image that someone posted. It was a woman. She was laying on her back, and she had a camera up, and her children were. She was laying on her back, and her children were breastfeeding. One child, he was older. He was probably, I would say, maybe 4. Mm-hmm. He was about 4, and the other child was about 2. And, you know, one was on the breast, the other one was running around, laughing, playing, and then he would come and he would get on the breast and he would drink, and then the other one would kind of laugh and get up and talk and, you know, maybe run around and come back and breastfeed, and she's just kind of talking leisurely and just telling everyone just about the beauty of breastfeeding. So, you know, someone posted it up. And I just read the comments, just the comments alone that came, the backlash that came from that, you know, just because, you know, the woman, she was attractive. She was very attractive, and she had large breasts. So just because she was attractive and had large breasts, everyone automatically looked at it in a sexual way. Right. They looked at it as if, you know, like she was almost like sexually abusing her children. You know, just the comments that they were making, the disgust that they had because she was on her back feeding her children. And I think that she did it to make a point. Right. Just to, you know, just showing herself like that. She was making a point. You know, it's nothing wrong with breastfeeding, but, you know, her taking that particular angle from the video, she was making a point. But just looking at what everyone was saying as far as, you know, saying, oh, they're too big, you know, the children are too big for that, you know, she ought to be ashamed of herself. And she's just sitting there with her chest out. And, you know, just the comments, and it just really made me think about just how bad it is when it comes to our education. Like she's feeding her children. That's what she's doing. What we're like, what is going through our minds? Like maybe we need to check ourselves if we're feeling some kind of way, if we're feeling uncomfortable and uneasy about someone feeding their child. That's all that she was doing.
Right.
And it's a miseducation to start feeling some kind of way when women are feeding their children and they decide to breastfeed until the child wants to wean. One of the things that Maha spoke about yesterday, and this was actually education for me too, because based on the World Health Organization, they encourage you to breastfeed for at least 3 years, and that could have changed. But around the time when Taora was born and we were doing our research, they were recommending to breastfeed for at least 3 years. 4 years is, even better, which is what we did, But based on what Maha was saying, it actually makes perfect sense. That first set of teeth is really kind of for that first set is when they're still breastfeeding. So, they can technically breastfeed all the way up until those teeth fall out, so you can go a lot longer than, for 4 years. You can go for longer.
But also, I think what Maha was saying is when older children, like let's say 3.5, 4 and up, when they nurse, it may be like once a day before they go to bed. And I think people envision like these older children every 3 hours on the boob. Like,
feeding all the time.
Yeah, but when they're eating solid foods, the requirement is less. And it's more of a connection and nurturing. But there still is nutrients in the milk,
like
but
she said.
Most of the nutrients just, come from their food.
Right.
So I think a lot of times that's the misconception.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And it's just to me we have to push ourselves, because a lot of times people actually get mad. Like they get mad when they see people breastfeeding for longer. Like I remember people used to actually get mad at Kim, like if they saw Saora at 3, if Saora came over and breastfeed and they're looking at her like, girl, when you gonna, get that girl off of the boob?
Yes.
Like what is going on here? You still breastfeeding
Get that baby
girl?
off of that breast.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like why are you upset? Because she's nourishing and has that connection with her child. You know what I mean? We have to change our perception and push ourselves to be more open to something that is natural.
Right.
So if anything, it just really just open me up to just how far we have to go with something that's natural for the woman. This is a natural occurrence between a mother and child, this whole natural process. I mean, if we look at TV right now and we look at the shifts that are happening in TV right now, I mean, if you look at, TV from the 50s, if a woman had her shirt just kind of buttoned down a bit, like that was like risque, and now we have actual sex scene, like same sex scenes, what I mean? And that is actually becoming normal now. That was just a couple years ago, that was uncommon. Now we have, like same sex scenes on regular, national TV, not even like a cable station. We have that. And people are more accepting of that than they are
a woman
breastfeeding, or a woman breastfeeding an older child.
Right, I'll put it that way.
Or a woman breastfeeding in public. And it's still that just misconception of birthing overall. So I just think that the education process is so important, and obviously we're not getting it. So it's important for you to educate yourself. I know for me, when I was going through this process, like when we were going through it, I just wanted to be involved in it. I was just thinking like, okay, what is going to be my role as a man in this birthing process,
right?
You know, because a lot of times the men just kind of stay out of it. You know, this is the woman's thing. You know, so you know, she a lot of times, you know, she may go to the doctors by herself or with her mom or whatever, and the whole process is really doesn't include the man. So I wanted to find my role in it. So I did my research. I read books. You know, I wanted to be just as a part of it. I wanted to be at all of the doctor appointments. Like I wanted to be a part of this process because it is sacred. You know, this is a process between the man, woman, and the baby that's growing.
Right.
You know, and this is something that, you know, all three of parties should experience together and make it sacred. You know, so during that process, it's important to get education. I remember we took a course together. We took the Bradley's Method course, right?
Yeah, we took the Bradley's Method course.
Yeah, we took the Bradley's Method course, and then I know you did some hypnobirthing, and we made it a point to
watch DVDs.
Yeah, DVDs together every week. We got books. We read them together, and
found YouTube videos.
Yeah, and we really made this a process of understanding. So yeah, by the time we got to close to the expected date, like we were mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually connected to the process and ready.
Well, I know Maha, one thing she said was, you learn all you need to know about the birthing process, and then you let it go. And I felt like, especially me, I felt like that's what I did. Like I consumed so much information, not to the point of being overwhelmed, but actually of making myself more comfortable in understanding the stages of labor, understanding, the 3 stages of labor. And when you get into the last stage, the transition stage, is when most women feel that they cannot go any further. And they say, I don't think I can do this. And then that is the shortest stage. It's the most intense, but it's the shortest stage. And then normally after that, your baby is birthed. And that's the same thing that happened with me. I remember looking at Jamal in the final stage and just saying, I don't think I can do this. And he's like, you can do it, because Jamal was my doula.
Yeah.
And the doula is a birthing assistant, helping the mother during the birthing process.
Right.
What episode was that?
That we spoke about that?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I have to look.
Yeah.
But Jamal was my doula. Actually with Maha, but I'm not sure. I have to check the episodes. But yeah, Jamal was my doula, and but the more the more information I knew, I was comfortable, and then it was just like submitting to my intuition when I was in labor. But one of the other things that we discussed with Maha is not viewing birth as a medical emergency. I was so happy that we discussed that topic, because like Jamal was saying, the health education that most people receive is just not enough. It's glazed over. And for such a huge life experience, a lot of people do not really understand the process until they become pregnant. Some people, I'm not even going to say all, but some people do before they get pregnant, get some education. But most people are motivated to dive into getting that education when they're pregnant. And it's something that, because it's such a life experience, it's such a big experience in people's lives that when it doesn't work out, it breaks up relationships. That's how big it is. It severs families because of some trials and tribulations that some people go through when wanting to conceive a child. And, it's unfortunate and it's so heartbreaking, when people go through that. But, birth is not a medical emergency. It's not something that women have to be saved from. And when you look at mainstream media and YouTube and even social media and the baby story, whenever a woman is in labor, what do you see? What do you hear? You see fear. You hear screaming. You hear she's out of control. She has to be saved. Call the doctors. Go, 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 go. Just all this negative energy around something so powerful, something so amazing, something that a woman's body is built to do. And this is for not high risk pregnancies. we're talking about normal pregnancies that don't have any complications. Most of, a regular pregnancy, a woman is built to have a baby. Like that's not all we're here to do, but that is one of the greatest gifts that the Creator has given a woman, that gift of conception and birth. And this is what we're meant to do. But now the way the society is, it's taken, as Maha has discussed with us, it's taken the woman and the child from the center of the birthing experience. And you have outside factors, dictating what she should do with her body. You can't walk around. You have to lay down. Put your legs up. You can't, And how can a woman relax and submit to the birthing experience when you're not comfortable? Being relaxed is one of the most important things during the birthing process. That's why Jamal and I decided to have a home birth, because I was not comfortable in a hospital setting. But as Maha also discussed, it's not about a one size fit all. Every birth isn't the same and every woman isn't the same. And it's about allowing the woman to have a choice of birthing her child in an environment that she is comfortable in. So if you're comfortable at home, you should be able to have the baby at home. If you're comfortable in the hospital, you should be able to have your baby in a hospital in a comfortable environment. If you want to have the baby out in the field where you feel safe, you should be able to do that. But it's about having the option and choice to dictate what you want in your own birth.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is important. Just knowing that what you want is important, because we talk to a lot of people and they don't realize that everything is laid out for them and they're just kind of falling into place with things. But you can set things up the exact way that you want. You can have a birthing plan, because we had a birthing plan. We had everything written out the exact way that we wanted the birth to go. Mm-hmm. And it pretty much went that way. The only thing that didn't happen was we wanted to do a water birth.
Right.
And we didn't fill the tub. We had this huge like jacuzzi tub, it was inflatable, and we inflated it up, and we had it in our bedroom. And Kim was practicing her hypnobirthing. We had, we educated ourselves on the mind-body connection, and she was in her like spiritual zone. So she was so calm. She was so calm and centered through the process that when she was speaking to the midwife was like, "Oh no, you're too calm. Like we still got some time." So the midwife told us to wait before we filled the tub, but we really should have filled the tub then. So when the midwife, got there, she was like, "Okay, start filling the tub." So we're filling the tub, and it's like literally a quarter of the way filled. And she checked to see how dilated she was, and she was like, "Oh wow, like,
do you feel like pushing?"
Yeah, do you feel like pushing?
But I was pushing the whole hour before she.
And yeah, she was like, "You feel like pushing?" And 2 pushes, and Soora was out, like literally 2 pushes, and Soora was out. So Soora was born before we could fill the tub up and get a chance to have the water birth. Everything is divine. Everything happens for a reason.
Right.
So, we were grateful, just for the experience, but everything went, according to plan, other than the water birth. So now we know in the future, like we're going to fill that tub up early.
Yeah.
Because, Dana, she just wanted to be careful. And, sometimes, women get ahead of themselves and they'll jump in that tub without her, and she just didn't want any problems.
Right.
But yeah, next time we're just going to fill that tub and I'll be sure not to let you get in there before the midwife gets there. But yeah, it's a beautiful experience. Very, very beautiful experience. And I just want to say this as my last takeaway. I thought that what she said was incredible and important. Just understanding that rites of passage,
right.
In African culture and many different ancient cultures around the world, we had rites of passage, and that taught us the lessons that we needed as we shifted into different phases of our lives. And I just think about women and just the lack of education when it comes to their cycle, their when they get their period, and just miseducated on the length of time and, you know, the true shifts from a holistic perspective of what's going in the body and just puberty and things like that, and not knowing how to, you know, take herbs and, you know, do certain practices to help our body shift through this process so that it's not a turbulent process.
Right.
And then with the birthing process, you know, how to shift through and so that it's not a turbulent process. You know, so many women that we see, when they're going through menopause, for example, it's like they have no idea what's going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times they're just like scared, or they just want relief in some type of way. And they go to the doctors, and now, you know, they're doing things that they don't necessarily want to do because they don't understand how to transition properly through that process.
Right.
So it just made me think about that, which also kind of goes back to the education process. You hit it right on the nose when you said that a lot of times people, women and men during the birthing process, that's when they study. But we should already know that.
Right.
That's the wisdom that we should already know as we're coming into our rites of passages of adults, you know, and before women become, you know, going into that area of menopause, they should already be educated and know, okay, this is what I need to do. This is the herbs that I need to take. This is, you know, the emotional things I need to work on. Like, they should already know these things.
Right.
You know, so I thought it was a good show on many levels. And, you know, I hope that everyone enjoyed it as much as we did.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And my last takeaway, just really briefly, was Maha explaining that, you know, like Jamal said, you know, a woman has 3 phases or rites of passage in her life, going into puberty, getting her cycle, you know, motherhood, if you're fortunate and you know, to have that occurrence, and if that's what you want in your life, and then menopause. But in our society, they try to force women into this box of like her youth of like 25 to like early 30s.
Yeah.
And how older women are not celebrated for their journey and wisdom that they've acquired. Because I know for me as a 40-year-old woman, every year I get more confident and comfortable in who I am, my beliefs, and living my truth, as opposed to my 20s and 30s. Well, 20s, you know, you just second guessing yourself. You don't know who you are. And then as you keep evolving, but especially being a mother, being a wife, and just having certain life experiences, you know how to stand firm in your conviction as you begin to age and get older, and to welcome that. And because our society pushes women into this 20-year-old box, you know, in our society, when a woman gets into 30, she feels that she is old, that she can, you know, she starts to hear that biological clock ticking. And, you know, you start to put all this unnecessary stress on yourself, when in fact, Maha shared that she had her last child at the age of 46. And this leads all the way back to our episode 1 with Queen Afua, talking about releasing the emotional baggages and blockages that we as women carry from traumas and negative experiences. And I know me personally, my work that I did early on in my life, taking Queen Afua's Sacred Women training, where I released negative emotions and traumas and things that I didn't even know I was holding on to from my womb, certainly helped me during my birthing process. And my birthing process was also healing for me as well. So I just wanted to touch on that, for women to celebrate who you are, where you are in your life, and enjoy every age of your life, and understand that the only biological clock that's ticking is a fictitious one that's put in your mind, and you have to reprogram yourself and recenter yourself and understand that that is such a lie.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
So you good, right?
Yeah. I'm good. We're on the same page with that. Yeah. I say, if this is new for you, if this is all new for you, just dive into it a little bit more. You know, it's a whole nother world out there. the way that we've been taught as far that of everything that surrounds birth is just one way. It's just one way, and there's so many other ways, so many other methods, and you have choices. Mm-hmm. You know, as men and women, you have choices that you need to explore. I don't think it's right to be given one choice and just say, "Here, this is it."
Right.
You know, you have many, and you need to explore all of them, and you need to decide what is best for you.
Right.
What's the best way that you want to go?
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you want to have a home birth? Do you want to be at a birthing center? Do you want to be in a hospital? But listen to this, because we saw a DVD when we were going through the birthing process. Some women wanted to have their birth in the jungle. Someone wanted to have their birth in a pasture. We saw it. Mm-hmm. A woman wanted to have her birth in the ocean. You know. And it sounds bizarre, and you might not be that extreme, but it's important to know that you have options of where you want to have your child,
right? And
the process that you want to take to get there, and just know that you can put a team together to make whatever type of birth happen you want, you know, that you want to have. So I think that that's important, and I know this was a stretch for a lot of people, but I think it's a good stretch.
It's a good stretch.
Yeah, it's a good stretch. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this show up.
Yeah.
For all the information that we discussed in this podcast, you know, previous episode links, anything that we mentioned, just shoot over to jkhealthtribe.com/16 and you will get access to that information. And also don't forget to sign up for our email newsletter list. We send out weekly newsletters each and every Friday with some powerful information that you can implement in your life to live healthier, and you'll be kept abreast of everything Jamal and I will be doing currently and in the future. So until next time, live healthier and have a happy new year.
Yeah, definitely stay focused, everyone.
We hope you enjoyed your time with Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe. To keep you on your path towards a happy, healthier lifestyle, we encourage you to visit jkhealthtribe.com for a free copy of the 8 effective ways to lose weight and keep it off, as well as more content to help you find your health balance. Thanks again, and we look forward to educating, empowering, and inspiring you to live healthier.